that organizations don't change. People do. This organization is nothing. It's nothing. It's just the sum of all the efforts of the people in this room and across the country. And you accumulate all those people and all those decisions they make, and you either end up with an organization that changes, or that's innovative, or that's friendly, or that's great customer service, or one that doesn't. So we can talk about a direction of a company, but until we bring it into the trenches, until individual people make different decisions today that they made yesterday, it doesn't go anywhere. That's where the real power comes from a brand. Because you can say, we're going to give you this, but then if somebody walks in and they see that. My friend took this at a branch close to our house. And that's, I mean, it's more of a joke than anything. But so, of course, you think this is your brand. This is not your brand at all. Sue's your brand. And Mary is your brand. Where's Mary? Mary, don't be shy. She's in Mexico. Oh, nice. Sorry, had I known, I wouldn't have included her. No. Of course, right? It's every single person within this organization. That's the brand. Because the brand isn't about colors and logos and taglines. Brand is about action. The taglines and the colors and everything, that is just a promise of what's to come. But the real brand are the actions of the individuals who represent that organization. And it's never been more critical. Here's why. Because this is 2005. This is the death of Pope John Paul II outside the Vatican. Okay, take a good look at his foot. I'm sure some of you have seen this before. There we are, 8 years later, same spot. We've gone from that to that in 8 years. And you know this more than anybody. You sell everything that's there on that screen. But the problem is that, well, yes, it's really important that, that we talk about this. It's critically important, but that has already changed. What we really need to do is look at that. What's the headspace? The headspace of the people. Because three things have happened that have fundamentally changed the way we interact with customers and the way we interact with one another internally. The first thing is that the cost of production has come down. So before, if you wanted to make a TV show, well, you know what? You needed to be Shaw, you needed to be Rogers, you needed to have studios and cameras and editors and makeup and everything. And now, as you know, every single one of you can shoot a TV show with the phone in your pocket. Cost of production came, like, overnight. Second thing, we've got global instantaneous distribution through the internet. And when you combine a low cost of production with massive distribution, what you end up with is this desire to consume and create niche content. So if you're really into knitting, before you got a magazine and that was it. And now, low cost of production, massive distribution, knitting? What? You can follow 500 knitters on Twitter. You can sell your stuff on Etsy. You can watch instructional videos on YouTube. You can download great PDFs of the best patterns. You can engage in a Twitter party for an hour and a half. You can do everything. You can geek out 24/7 on the thing you love more than anything in the world. It's like crack. Apparently, I don't know, actually. I don't know what crack is like. But the thing you love more than anything, and you can geek out on it 24/7. So everybody is now consuming stuff that's really, really targeted, that's really, really interesting. And everything else, every other conversation that people want to have with us, hey, you got 5 minutes, can I pick your brain? I hear you're the resident expert on. Can you just join us for 10 minutes? You're like, what? I got knitting over here. And average consumers have got the tools, as you know, right? So they're doing it. They're doing it and people are consuming this. I took this at the Calgary Stampede. They're about to compete. They're clearly distracted. That's Rembrandt. It's even beyond our species, my friends. So it's something we call the expression economy. And this is what we're competing in. We're competing for time, right? People used to vote with their wallets, and now they vote with their time. You're not competing against anybody else but the internet. That's what you're up against. And the internet is doing stuff like this. Doing stuff like that. I showed this at an event, and there was a young woman in the front row. She looked like early 20s, and I go, sorry, you probably don't know who this is. And she goes, it's the guy from Dancing with the Stars. I'm not an idiot. They're doing stuff like that. And that's what we're up against, right? So what do we do? How do we compete with that? As an organization, how do we compete against that? Well, one thing we can do is we can look at the top 10 global brands and like, okay, who's doing a really great job out there? These are the top 10 global brands for 2015. And what's really interesting to me is a couple things. One is that we talk about the Johnny-come-latelys. We talked about Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest and Snapchat and LinkedIn and everything else. But the ones who are really hitting it out of the park, they've been around for a long time. They've been doing it for a long time, right? Apple started as, obviously a hardware software manufacturer. Now they're getting, what is it, 60% of the global profits from smartphones. Google, obviously, is so diverse now they had to create a holding company called Alphabet. And Microsoft, the client of ours, and they used to be about buying a CD and putting it in, now they're all in on cloud computing. IBM stands for International Business Machines. They don't sell business machines anymore. So on one hand, organizations, how you're staying in the top 10 is you are constantly reinventing yourself. You are constantly looking at new ways of doing business, of new things to produce, aimed at new people with new processes and new partners and new vendors and everything else. Constantly changing. I had a great opportunity to interview a guy named Jack Welch last year, which some of you who may be over 40 may know. But Jack Welch was the CEO of the Century. He was the former CEO of GE. It was an unbelievable opportunity for me. And it was in front of like 2,000 people. And Jack is known for being a little bit crotchety. And I said, what do you think of what was your innovation platform at GE? He's like, innovation, forget innovation. Here's how you innovate. Find a better way every day. That's it. Because often we go, it's the Q4 initiative. It's time to innovate. Instead of going, what am I going to do today that's a little bit better than yesterday? That's, as a person, as an individual in a career, that's how we get better. That's how we keep it interesting. Who wants to get up and do the exact same thing you did yesterday? Every single day, let's find a better way. So we should look at what great brands are doing, but we should also, as individuals, do the exact same things, because great brands are innovative. Guess what? So are great people. So we can do things that they do as individuals. That's how we live up to the line. So what do we do? Well, we got to suck it up. Because every time I go to an organization, they go, we're changing so much, right? And people are like, poor us, you have no idea what we're going through. I'm like, really? Can you imagine if you were a musician? You want change? A musician doesn't even make money the way they used to make money anymore. Complete overhaul. Every single category, every single industry, every single organization is going through change. So I go, suck it up, because it's what makes life interesting.